Kryptonite desires set my heart afire.
Big Fani land, where Big Fani and Nathan's hot dog roller, Nathan Wade, had a very special day yesterday, where the attorney for Nathan Wade, a guy named Terrence Bradley, they're not sending their best, you'll see in just a moment, stumbled, bumbled, mumbled, sweated profusely, wiped the sweat from his face using what looked like a towel from a locker room, said, "I do not recall," multiple times, especially to the questioning of whether he lies. "Do you lie? I don't recall," he said. But it gets even better. Donald Trump's attorney yesterday did what I think is like legally called like public humiliation to this guy. There's a very specific text message in a chain of evidence that the Trump attorneys have that say, listen, this affair started well before the Trump prosecution. They have this guy in his own words. When presented with this evidence, the man in the hot seat literally goes under his breath, "Oh, damn. Oh, damn." Incredible moment when Nathan Wade's divorce lawyer appears to mutter, "Oh, dang," when he's shown text message that he sent saying his client started dating Fani Willis before they hired him to prosecute Trump. Ooh, baby. Oh, man. We have the actual text here. Here's the image of the text. We put this together. Our team put this together. Here's the image, because it's important to actually put up the physical evidence. They're talking about Nathan Wade and Big Fani. And Miss Merchant says, just date. Don't hire him, right? Do you think it started before she hired him? Absolutely, says Nathan Wade's lawyer. So they have him dead to rights. Here is the conversation about this text, the piece of bombshell evidence, where Nathan Wade's own attorney admits, yeah, they've been lying to the court the whole time. Ooh, we are cooking. Go.
Okay, in Defense Exhibit 26, which I showed you last time, was 2 pages of text messages between you and Miss Merchant, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, the first page starts off by saying, Miss Merchant, like just date, don't hire him. Do you think it started before she hired him? You see that?
Yes, I see it. Yes.
And your response to that was absolutely, correct?
I'm going to object, ask and answer in cumulative.
All right. So,
After the word absolutely, you on your own said it started when she left the DA's office and was judge in South Fulton. They met at the municipal court CLE conference. That's what you said, correct?
that is correct.
Oh, man. All right, babies. Okay. Joining us now, is the perfect guest to talk about all of this. Former U.S. Attorney for the District of Utah, Executive Director of the Right on Crime, and one of the sharpest tacks there is to break down what happened yesterday in the Fani Willis trial. Brett Tolman joins the program. Brett, I apologize for jumping in here late. There's so much breaking news today. It's just wild. And I just could not believe yesterday when we had to cut again to Fulton County to be like, what a nightmare. What a dumpster fire on display. So you've tried a bunch of cases. You brought a bunch of evidence. Like, do you regularly have these, like, the person that you're prosecuting, like, admit in text message form that they've lied to the court?
You know, Benny, thanks for having me on. This is surreal watching all this. You know, there's a handful of moments in a trial lawyer's time in the courtroom where you walk away and you go, That was awesome. And I can promise you that is what happened after that. I mean, for the witness to crumble like that, to be confronted with his own text, for you to be able to slowly walk them through to sort of the pivotal admission, and then for it to undermine what has happened. But make no mistakes, the repercussions should be severe for this, because you have a county attorney who is an elected official that's willing to compromise all kinds of ethical rules, but now criminal statutes as well. She's perjury comes into play, potential embezzlement or misuse of government funds comes into play. You also have the fact that you've got the lawyer from her boyfriend serving on the taint team, and not a lot of people are talking about the significance of that, but you are supposed to establish a team of lawyers to review evidence that comes in from Trump's lawyers to determine whether or not privilege applies and whether it can be used in the case against Donald Trump. Well, guess what? They had a ringer on what is supposed to be the most objective, above criticism group of people to review the evidence to apply whether or not the privilege establishes. And what do they have? They have a compromised individual on that. So they were not only cooking the books, they were not only having an inappropriate affair, but they were also setting up a pathway where they could utilize and make sure they could use all the evidence they wanted to use, instead of it following the rules of evidence. So there's so many layers of this, Benny, that it's hard to get your mind around.
So yesterday, Andrew McCarthy on Fox said what they're going to go for here is the disqualification of the entire office. Do you agree with that?
I do, and there's precedent for it. When you have the elected official compromised, the whole office can be in essence recused from bringing the case. Under those circumstances, the state has two options. Either the attorney general can reassign it to a different county, or the attorney general's office can take the case themselves. Either way, they have to review it brand new. And do you think they want to touch? Do you think any other county attorney wants to touch this heaping mess of garbage that has been piled and cobbled together by lawyers who don't care about the ethics and the rules of evidence?
So I mean, I am kind of shocked. I recall a line that Donald Trump said, not about this case, but he said they're not sending their best. And as I watch these lawyers testify, Nathan Wade sitting there, have you ever been to a cabin? And we counted, we put a timer on screen, 60 straight seconds of him sweating, staring at the middle distance, saying, I don't know. Have I been to a cabin? Like, I wouldn't want these people representing me for a traffic ticket or like a parking ticket, much less going after the president of the United States in what will be written down in the history books, right? Of a case.
Well, Benny, absolutely true. We may not be dealing with the brightest bulbs here, but let me tell you another factor. Prosecutors are the absolute worst witnesses in a case. They have always been on the side of power. They are not the vulnerable. They are not the one being asked to account. They are not the ones that are in the hot seat. And when they get there, it is, by far the best cross-examination I've ever enjoyed was the one time I got to cross-examine a prosecutor on the stand. And then let me tell you, that's the stuff that journal entries are made of.
Now, I honestly, I want to take a step back here and just say with your extensive, deep reservoir of decades of doing this and your experience, what have you seen in this trial so far? And can you handicap for us what you think the judge is going to do here?
Yeah, great question, Benny. I would say if we were in an area where the rule of law is adhered to, and you have an attorney general or a county attorney that's observing this, you would see immediately a grand jury impaneled in order to deal with prosecutors that are willing to go into court and lie. You would also have immediate referrals for ethics violations. And those are severe when it comes to this kind of behavior. Qualified immunity does not apply when you are lying on the stand or you're committing crimes. And so that should be a two-part investigative path that is immediately launched, both the criminal side of what they're doing. I'd want to know everything about the finances. It appears that they were taking advantage of monies that she could funnel to a boyfriend that they could both take advantage of. And all of those should be pursued. The judge reviewing the case has got to be thinking to himself, what we have here is not just ethical violations, but we might have substantial effort to push a case to benefit personally, financially, and politically against a political adversary. And I would tell you, Benny, that all of this is bad, and it's a something that we watch and we see happening. And lawyers and I we text message and say, can you believe the circus that we're seeing? But let me point out the real controversy here is, don't forget, she spent significant time talking to the White House before she brought this case.
Mm.
I want to know, how far does it extend? How far does the effort extend? And I would not be surprised if we're seeing the Biden regime pushing down this effort in the multiple districts that are going after Trump.
It does seem unbelievably unhinged, very sloppy, and probably very scary for the people involved here because they bit off far more than they can chew. Perhaps perfectly personified by the clip that's on screen right now of Fani Willis holding up reams of papers and screaming at the court before the judge put her in timeout. I've never seen anything like it. Maybe you have, again, in your decades of experience. Can you talk me through like this clip alone?
Yeah, I saw this clip. I watched it a couple of times, and you have a choice when you're righteously indignant. You have a choice when you're on the stand to try to control the conversation, try to, assert dominance, and it always backfires, always. And it does in this instance. She does not want to be questioned because she's already believed in her own mind that she's above accountability. So when you believe, when you're on the left right now, they believe they are above accountability. The law doesn't apply to them. The rules don't apply to them because the means justify the ends. And that's a scary place for our country, because if one side is the only side willing to say, okay, the law still is important and the rules apply, and the other side says no, it's very difficult to play against that team. And so we do need more moments like this. We need individuals that are willing to abuse power to be sitting there under oath, with a cross-examination that is well prepared and is pointed at exposing, because that may be the only way that you expose. Transparency is almost unheard of in the criminal justice system for those who wield power.
Mm. So final question here, Brett, and I deeply appreciate your time and your expertise. You said in panel and grand jury, go through all of the potential criminality here. If they are found to be sort of where this trial is heading, we have a clip we play often from MSNBC with the legal experts on MSNBC admitting they're going to get disqualified. Do you agree with that? I mean, do you think that this could reach like disbarment, that this could reach a moment where they get captured and trapped in their own criminal trial?
Benny, I do. I mean, this is outrageous behavior. If we back away from it, with all their explanations and all they're trying to say, everything was above board. We know they're lying about when they were dating. We know they're lying about use of funds. We also know that there are compromises to very sacrosanct entities like the taint team that have to review whether evidence is sufficient to come into a trial against Trump. I mean, at every level and stage, it's not just sloppiness. This is bad ethical, moral compasses that don't believe the rules apply to them, and that they will do anything they can to actually achieve their goal, which was to hobble the leading candidate on of their political opposition, and that's what they're doing. And so, this case is going to be, I think, the least consequence is this case, this Fani Willis and her department being disqualified, and an ethics investigation. That's the least likely consequence if we have well-meaning, thoughtful people that are going to be reviewing it.
What's the most likely consequence? Quickly.
So, the most likely. that's the least of most likely should be, and I think it will be. I think people will see this in another county, or the attorney general may see this and say, I'm going to open a criminal investigation on the use of those funds.
Wow. Well, maybe Fani Willis can buy a dress that doesn't have to be worn backwards. If she's able to allow to be embezzle more, maybe we'll do a collection.
I'll tell you one thing. She does not want to be on the stand again. I'll tell you that
much. Brett, can you please just really quickly shout out what your awesome group, Right on Crime?
Absolutely. RightOnCrime.com. We are an organization trying to fix broken parts of the criminal justice system, hold people accountable, and shed transparent light on what those with power do. So look us up. Love to continue this great work across the whole country.
Ooh, couldn't imagine a better news cycle for you, sir. And we thank you for joining our program.
Thank you, Benny.
Godspeed. Oh man, what a world, ladies and gentlemen. What a special news cycle for us. There's so much going on. Our cup runneth over. And I have a very tight little group of people that I consider my friends. I do want to go back to the Fulton trial here and state this, like, for the record. If anybody ever asks you on national TV with what would have to be millions of people watching across the internet and across terrestrial television, if anybody asks you, do you lie to your friends? Are you a liar? Do you go to your friends and lie to them? And you go, and your answer is, no comment. You're going to look bad. It's not going to be a good look for you. You will look like a jackwagon. And that is exactly what happened yesterday with Nathan Wade's best friend and lawyer, and what I actually didn't know, a guy who's actually working on the Trump case, Terrence Bradley, in a line of questioning from Trump's attorney. So good. Do you lie? Watch.
Normal course of your relationships with your friends, do you pass on lies about your friends?
Have I passed on a lie about a friend? Is that what you're asking?
Is that something you normally do, Mr. Bradley? Do you tell lies about your friends?
Have I told lies about friends? I could have. I don't know.
Do you tell lies about your friends about a case of national importance?
Objection as to.
All right, overruled. I could have. I don't know.
I don't know. Do you ever lie? Hi, dear viewer, dear friend of mine. Let me give you a little bit of friendly advice. If you're watching the program right now, if you're part of the Benny Brigade, if you're part of the Salty Army, let me give you some advice right now. If you're married, if you have a husband or a wife, if you're even in a relationship, you're dating someone right now, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend. And they ask, do you lie to me? Are you lying? If that your significant other asks that, right? In my case, my wife goes, are you lying to me? And my answer, this is my answer. Honey, I don't know. Sometimes, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. Can we just watch some Seinfeld? Yes, it's not going to be a great night for you, okay? If you sweat profusely and you can't answer the damn question, do you lie? Are you a liar? And you shrug it off, you're going to have a bad night, pal. You're going to be sleeping on the porch. You're going to be lucky if you're sleeping at all anywhere near that house, okay? Let me just speak wisdom to you, dear friend. So you better be coming correct, right? If you're answering big questions like this. Unfortunately, Mr. Terrence Bradley, remember, Fani Willis, just the premier prosecutor in the country, hiring guys like this, hiring guys like Nathan's Hot Dog. They're just the smartest people, the smartest people in the country. Can't answer just the basic questions about the case. Can't answer.
So maybe you can tell the court in your own words, why in the heck would you speculate in this text message and say that it started when she left the DA's office and was a judge in South Fulton? Why would you speculate and say that in a text?
I knew they had met at the municipal court conference.
How do you know that? I'll stop you right there. How did you know that?
I answered that at the last. I knew that.
You now.
I knew that
Sir,
because
I'm asking you questions, and you are in a situation where you get to give answers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you, how did you know that?
How did I know when they met?
Somebody told you that, right?
When they met?
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Who told you?
Mr. Wade told me when they met.
So you had more than one conversation about the relationship between Mr. Wade and Miss Willis because he told you where he met her.
That's
correct?
incorrect. Incorrect.
It's incorrect.
It's incorrect.
Okay.
Oh, man. Dude, okay. Again, body language really doesn't lie. In fact, when you're lying, there are certain things that happen in your sympathetic nervous system and your autonomic nervous system. Is that the right way to say that? Where like you can't even control it, right? You start profusely sweating when you start shaking, right? These are things that are reflexes that happen because you're under pressure. You're handling stress. Everyone handles stress kind of in a similar way, and they have a similar pattern. And so when you see that man slumping over in his desk, like looking like this, and like being literally physically beaten down, and being unable to answer the questions, and like sweating profusely, you know he's lying. You know it's over. It's over. So we have the text. Let's pop it up. We have the text of him going, "Oh dang." He goes, "Oh dang," when he saw this text. So she hired Nathan Wade while she was dating him. And here's Nathan Wade's best friend and lawyer confirming that. What did they do after she hired him? Did they have sex in their offices? That's something that was brought up during the conversation yesterday. And as you can imagine, it wasn't pretty, if you know what I mean. Watch.
Did you learn from Mr. Wade, I was clarified that's where you learned it from, about Mr. Wade and Miss Willis meeting at the Evans office together?
I can't recall what the conversation was. I do recall knowing that he would go down to the office or had been down to the office, but I can't tell you in what capacity or when or any of that. No.
Mr. Wade told you that they had sex at that office, though, correct?
I don't recall him stating that, no.
You don't recall it?
No.
So it's possible he did say that? You just don't remember one way or another?
I do not remember him saying that.
So Nathan Wade said they had sex at the office. Lawyers can't just make up comments like that. They have that in testimony. So the Trump team's like actually holding back a little bit. They have that in testimony. That they were literally banging at the office. Oh, man. Oh, man. Baby, it's getting bad. It's getting nasty out here. Andrew McCarthy, one of our favorite legal commentators on Fox News, a guy who's not a big MAGA fan, right? A guy who's like not some type of like dyed-in-the-wool, red hat wearing like Trump guy. I only preface that to say like he's not. Andrew McCarthy isn't rooting for a result here. Andrew McCarthy is looking directly at what's happening on TV, saying, they're done. Like it's finished. They'll be lucky if they escape without themselves being in shackles here. Watch.
And, you know, with regard to that, this judge is going to have to make a decision in this case about whether or not he's going to remove Willis and Wade. There's another hearing, I believe, on Friday in this matter. Take us through how you think this is going to go at this point?
Well, I think he'll have to sort of segmented. So it looks to me like the strongest case to have somebody get out of the case is Wade, because you have all kinds of problems with some of his prior statements. Then you have Willis, and then you have the entire office. I mean, the ultimate argument they're making is that the whole DA's office has to be removed from this case. Frankly, I think at this point, if your standard, as it should be, is the appearance of impropriety, at the very least, Willis and Wade should be off this case. And then they should be able to establish whether she and he are so immersed in this that the whole office has to go.
So Andrew McCarthy there saying, not a big time Trump fan, that dude, saying the whole office is going to have to go. Like they're like, that's where we're heading here, that they're going to kick out the entire office. Jonathan Turley, our favorite legal commentator on Fox, this side of Brett Tolman, who's awesome, who Brett Tolman just said the exact same thing. They'll be lucky if they don't catch criminal charges. They'll be lucky if they're the ones without the mugshot after this. It's your boy. There's the boy. Thank you, Fani, for this mugshot. More to come on that. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Turley last night, because it's important to listen to the experts. I'm not a lawyer, right? I don't fancy myself a legal expert. It's important to listen to the experts. Brett Tolman saying they're going to catch a case. These guys may go to prison for this. Andrew McCarthy saying their entire office is going to get disqualified. The case is toast. And Jonathan Turley saying, why haven't they removed themselves from the case? They're destroying themselves. In any other profession, any other legal mind would have said, I'm already off the case. I resign. Turley, go.
Wow, I mean, it was a painful testimony to watch. It came off as sort of a Sergeant Schultz defense that I know nothing, including stuff that I knew with clarity just recently, and it did not go over well.
Is that case over in your view?
Well, I can't imagine why these two prosecutors have not removed themselves, because I think this judge is in a tough position to keep both of them. There's a chance that they both could be disqualified. They have not helped themselves, and they certainly have not helped the people of that state.
So why haven't they disqualified themselves? Jonathan Turley asks. They're humiliating themselves. This has become like an ongoing running joke. There have been wonderful memes that have been made, in fact, of what Big Fani and Nathan Wade were up to in their special little cabin. You'll recall there's a moment when Nathan Wade, Nathan's hot dog we call him, was asked, hey, have you ever been to a cabin with the Big Fani? And he goes, and then stares up into the sky. Now, our show always endeavors to bring you legal experts, to bring you the people who are really like truly in the arena, who are like actually there, who can like profoundly like demonstrate knowledge, factual knowledge about these kind of issues. But ladies and gentlemen, we happen to have the evidence of what Nathan Wade was actually thinking about in that moment when asked about the cabin, question. We happen to, with our own powers of investigation and meme making, have been able to recreate that moment and show you. Now that we know that they were having sex in Fani's office, are able to show you what was happening at that point in time. This is just a service that we provide to the American people. Here we go.
Did you go to a cabin with Miss Willis ever?
Ever?
Ever.
All this time we've been together, thought a thing would last forever. Through thick and thin, good or bad, all I was happy, never said. Now it's all gone sour, getting worse by the hour. Let's break up now.
No.
You never gone to a cabin with Miss Willis?
No.